Hey, how's it, guys? Welcome back to the commentary on race number 5 in Pool 5 in Season 3 Gran Turismo Sport SA. Yeah, thanks again for joining here just on a random commentary for some videos. So sorry for the race. Done this for a few, so yeah, I'm not getting any better at it. So let's just see how it goes. I did make a little bit of a video for the intros for the guys. I will try and link that video somewhere in this video. If you see it now, then you see it. If you don't, then just take a look at my channel. But yeah, let's dig into the race. And yeah, I must say this was quite an exciting one. It was the race 5 in GTSport SA Season 3, and we were required to drive within 500 cars with tuning enabled. The BOP was enabled on the cars, but yeah, we're still allowed to do some tuning on it. And yeah, man, you're just gonna see how this race pans out, because it was such a tricky one for most of the guys in here. But even with that being said, the quality of the race was still really good. And Pool 5, yeah, strong races. So let's see how this goes. So I'm gonna kick it off, and let's see how the big man Musa takes us. Leading the race, came out with a strong qualifying, rocking that cool German-ended livery. I think this was also custom livery that the guys built. It was a standing start with a false start check. So let's see how it pulls away. So Musa takes the lead. I think this first couple of laps were always quite interesting. Really gets his pull right here. As we go in that first corner, real rush to go around the corner. Luckily it was clean for most part of it. A couple of guys going wide in that first corner. CBS, Blitzvanach coming up, lead racing going wide. Oh, and getting a bit of hop there as well. Taking a look at Benny Boekverum, pulled out second at the start of the race. Had a strong qualifying and managed to carry that lap so full. Here's where things got a bit interesting. Really tight throughout that first corner. Slight gap pulling up between the guys. Brisbane, Googly pulling alongside, lead racing with Chuska. I don't know how you say it, Chuska, probably. I'm gonna say Chuska, who cares? But lead, take a nice line with Ferrari, one of the few drivers that rode with that Ferrari. So yeah, he seems to have done such a good job with it. Now we come keeping an eye on Lee, still taking 4th position in this first lap. Comes around those deadly little S's. Chuska over here side by side with Mose and Andries. Let's keep a look at these two again. Pack started to form here a bit with 2 groups coming into it. Really hustle and tussle for that 6th position. Another hop there by Googly. I'm not sure what's up with the game in those hops there. I've seen that happen a few times. I'm not sure why that happens. I wonder how it actually looks if that does actually happen. I don't know. Oh, Chuska just running a bit wide there. Oh, goes in with the side, just loses the car, but Googly side by side through with Andries on this corner, man. I mean, the racing was intense at this sport, guys. Like, look at it. I mean, it's crazy. I tried watching this before. I thought about how I'm gonna comment on this. I just didn't know what to do. The race was so exciting when we started. Eric Andries, talked about him in the intro. Didn't see much of him in the chats, but we'll see throughout the race. Really has a strong one. Ongoing battle with Mourey Razak. Really pushing Googly at this time with Maserati. Oh, Mourey Razak just runs a bit wide there. Andries on his side. He's putting up his best lap though. He's the 2nd lap, so he's expected. Andries comes on the inside. And you know, this little corner over here, such an exciting one if you get it right. Get it wrong, can really put you in that dust. Let's move down to the back of the pack. DC leading the last group of races here. That's from 9th all the way down to 14th. Rocking a very cool livery. Never seen one like this in any other races that I've seen. So really dope livery. Also going with the GTSport SA. I decided to take the inside line here. I think I managed to just get it just about right here. I think he's gonna get me in the cut, but doesn't seem to manage to do it. Oh, runs a bit wide there. Luckily avoided the penalty. I think I did actually pick a penalty up here. Yeah, I did. Picked up a 2-second penalty. Oof, I just decided to burn it right way down. But let's keep racing the other guys. Well, that takes place. Toss coming past. I'm still buzzing at penalty off here. Scorpio somehow got swallowed into that bottom pack. Again, another driver from Pool 6. He puts up a 138 in his first lap. And even at the 2nd lap now, the cars are still pretty tight at it. Sandshark and Chuska with an early mistake sees himself at the bottom of the pack alongside with me in those penalties. Let's keep an eye on Sandshark. Awesome livery, dude. I don't know where you managed to get this livery, but this thing is super dope. Didn't really spot it initially, but once you look at it a few times, really looks good. Sandshark deciding to go with the I think it's a CTR side by side in the straight here. Ooh, me and Chuska decides going inside. I think the Porsche had a bit more pace than the roof than the CTR in this race. So yeah, I lost a bit of a position there. I decided to take the inside line sharp there and managed to come out of it clean. But it's a very, very dangerous corner. As we come out the S's, let's move up the pack. Moda is up, dropping a little bit. A lot going on in this race, guys, so I might be missing a few things here and there. But Jesus, this race was just like quite intense. You know, in this first couple of like 5 laps or so. A Scorpion again, one of those drivers that came up from pool 6 and just managed to hold himself, you know, pretty firmly here in pool 5, which is excellent. And you always knew he was a strong driver from the first race we had in you know, the first race we had in pool 6. He managed to finish 4th in that race, only beaten by the guys from the, you know, the Crazy 8 guys. I think those guys are in pool 4 right now, so it just shows you the quality. Moving up in the block, and I think at this point in time the guys are starting to get used to the track. Moreira Zak went in early in the pits, probably had a bit of an accident there. So keep an eye on Trosk here. DC Gaming followed behind Lee Racing. Yeah, we've got Eric rocking a very cool livery on this Ferrari. Quite a few guys driving the Ferrari in this race, and I tried it out once thinking that, you know, I'm going to go something slightly different. I just couldn't get my, you know, in grip with it. Always found myself going back to the 911. So really take my hats off to the guys that actually managed to make, you know, the non-standard car work, and really gotta put it up to the guys to add some variety to the race. Some action happening here at the back between between Lee and DC, and I think this was an ongoing battle between these two. DC did have a bit of complaints at the end of the race, saying that if it was a drift race, he would probably have scored more points than anyone else. But large parts of the race, he seemed to have carried the car quite well. Yeah, it wasn't a favorite race for most of the guys. So, but even with that being said, a lot of the drivers seem to have put up good times, and really, I think there was really positive comments at the end of the race. Let's move our way down to the Trotsky. Again, I mentioned the intro for Trosk, really strong driver. I know he finished 38th last season in season 2. Decided to go with the CTR here, rough. Just taking a look at the track, the tires and the fuel. You know, you can see we're on pit 5, and Moreira Zak already went to the pits, and that must have been a car issue. Cross picking out his best lap here in lap 5, and you can see he's pulling away from the gap behind him. Nice little battle happening here between the two at the back. But let's make our way to the front of the race and see how things are going there. Position swap here from Benny the Bookrum and Moza, and these two were kind of at it almost all race. Geez, really never took a look at most of the guys before the race and where they were sort of before the race, position wise or points wise. And yeah, I mean, I just wish I kept my eye a bit on Benny and Moza, because these two just simply smoked everyone else in the race. Checking this battle out here, Moza decides to go on the inside, but excellent camera shot to the side. You can see he gets late in the break, decides to go for it. Benny goes wide, gives him some space, and this is the nice thing you get in these races, man. The guys race so clean, they try their best to keep it clean. Let's see if Moza can get him in the cut inside. Doesn't do it, but decides to keeps himself in the slipstream. Coming over that second turn. That turn's got his own story there. Nice turn if you get it right. Yeah, those two crossover here is also gonna give a slight lift so you don't get to run wide. Moza still battling with Benny the Book for him. Fuck, that name never gets old, eh? Googly catching up now because of that battle. Guys go side to side here on the hill. Musa decides to take it. Penny's still keeping strong. Breaks a bit there. Oh, decides to go. Oh, just managed to get a touch. Unlucky. I think he probably would have slipped past if that if it hadn't been for that touch. Got to take your hands off from Musa to pull that move off as clean as he did there. And this battle seemed to be going on some time. Googly deciding to pull himself into this fight as well. Excellent racing from these guys. The tyres are still keeping strong. Only on lap 6 at this point. And this time, the guys are really finding their feet to the race. 133s consistently with Penny. Expecting to pull good races up in pool 4 as well. A little bit of a sneak there on who finished, where the finishing position were. Let's keep a look at Googly now. Googly managed to pick up pace with his Maserati. I think Googly was talking about the Maserati having good handling. So, looking at his times, the pace was obviously there as well, constantly in the 33s. So he's definitely had an excellent race. You know, from start all the way to finish. Definitely got his practice again. He was in one of the lobbies that I saw, so I knew he was riding the Diablo that time actually. I actually complimented him on the pace that he managed to put up with the Diablo. Surprised that he went for the Maserati, but clearly showing us that dangerous, big damage can be done with this Maserati. You can see this pack now pulling clearly away from the pack after. Let's take a look at Brits Vinnig. Brits Vinnig. I always tend to say Blitz Vinnig. But I think Brits picked up a slight penalty, you know, in and around lap 5 and lap 7 when I watched this a little bit earlier. And that's why he's dropped off quite a bit. You can see that gap between the next bunch is just huge. I think Brits would have probably really give the guys upstairs a nice hard push had he not had that penalty early on. Just want to take a look at this livery as well. It actually looks super dope. How do I do that? Here we go. Super dope livery as well. What is that? Crazy 8s. Oh, dope. Yeah, man. So that's another thing with Gran Turismo Sport. They say a lot of the guys sporting their crew, if you want to call it, or their team. Not sure what the right word is to say. Sporting those liveries and, you know, different kind of teams that you have inside here. Crazy 8 Brits going into the pits. Let's take a look at someone else. I managed to pull into 4th position here at this stage. There was a bit of a sort of mistake that happened with a few guys early on. I managed to capitalize on it. Really felt the nerves at this point, but also not too bad times that I set on this time. So I just thought I'd just focus on the road in front of me and see what it's like. Eric closely behind to me, and he was pretty much close to me throughout most of this race. Yeah, you know, in this first couple of laps, you know, from 5 to lap 8, where that split sort of took up a place. So it was also very close. Also rocking a super dope livery on that Ferrari. Let's make our way back. DC Gaming. Not sure why DC complained that much. I think DC could have probably nailed a good race here. I think he has actually. But yeah, man, I think DC you'll probably see DC's true colors come out when those quote unquote normal cars gets used again. But he's definitely got the pace. Super dope livery as well. Car sinking, and I think at this state lap number 8, I think the guys were going for a 2-stop strategy. So you'll probably see most of the guys in the pits after lap 8. I know I did. So let's see how that pans out. Chuska still riding with that penalty here. He's got to burn it off before turn 1. Just a bit unlucky. I mean, he managed to work his way up to 7th position from that earlier incident. And running wide again here. I think he just struggled to get to grips with the car. Trotsky pulls up into 5th here. Again, I did warn you guys about Trosk with the driving ability that he has. Going with that rough as well. So really got to take a look at it. Now, yeah, just got battling it off with Scorpio. He burns that penalty off before turn 1 there. Oof, and Lee decides to go well over the curve. Jeez. Series of events happening on these 4 here around the corners. But geez, that pace, eh? I mean, once you get into the zone with these cars, you can really start to enjoy your race. And just go, yeah, just a little bit over the shot. I think you'll see again, like I said with DT Gaming, I think you'll see a lot more of a consistent drive with the normal cars, because he's definitely got that pace. I mean, one-off lap that he did in the qualifying really shows where he can push himself, and managed to squeeze himself right up into 7th position at the moment as we speak now, even with that penalty and with some of those accidents that happened earlier. So one to watch out for sure. Scorpio and Lee, the guys from Pool 6 earlier on. Scorpio, we know Scorps is also a good driver. Lee doesn't, and we know from Lee as well from Pool 6, Lee freaking, if there's a gap he takes it, so you just got to make sure you defend as best as you can, you know. At this point in time, the tires were shot. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys decide to go into the pits at this time. Your Lee definitely takes it. Scorpio goes out. Interesting for me to say out things. I think most of the guys opted for a 2-stop strategy, and I just felt like, you know, if I'm going to stop twice, which I couldn't really see any other way with the tires, I thought that, you know, let me stop in and around, you know, lap number 7 or number 8, and, you know, I can still carry you know, a couple of laps more for the second stop. But I did notice a lot of the guys carried into those 9, 10, 11 laps even. And I think they ended up still going for a 2-stopper, so I think the guys had to rethink that. Probably would have changed those strategies up, but you never know. Blitzvinnig, I think you can see on the tires they're still relatively fresh, so coming out of that pit and making his way into 8th position. So up with that group here just shows you the speed that he's managed to put in. Let's take a look at Sandshark. I think Sandshark was also going for the 2-stop strategy. He's still got that tires left and the fuel to back it up, so probably why we saw the initial slowdown from him. But these N500 cars on the super soft, sport soft tires, really gets me a bit nervous, you know, going on it on a one-stopper. But you know, as you know, these guys are quite experienced drivers. I'm sure they've done quite a lot of seasons and GTSport races before, and you know they know how to manage these things. So not surprised on why they didn't manage to do that. As you're coming down to the straight, in and around halfway on the race here, and different strategies starting to come into play. The 1-stopper, the 2-stopper, a couple of guys splitting. Still super dope delivery from Sandshark at this point in time. I think Sharky, I think he mentioned right at the start of the race that he managed to put up a 134, and I think it was with the, I could be wrong, I think it was with the CTR and or CDC, whatever it's called, but the rough. And yeah, man, I think this was just his first favorite, and I just knew that, you know, this is the one that he's going to go for in the race. At this point in time, Sandshark did have a worse tire set than I had, so I managed to take him there a little bit on the inside. Felt he gave a bit of away there, but not much you can do with a guy who's got a fresher tire than you. Let's take a look at the livery that I rocked. I decided to go with Triv's livery. He put this up on some time ago. I didn't even know it was his livery until I put it on. You can see these small little scripts inside the decals that actually says Triv's name, and I was like, wow, man, my boy. Google at the side also deciding to do a 2-stop at Maserati, also a little bit loose on that first lap. Tell me about it. You got to eat that tires up, but Google makes it look easier at this point. DC Gaming. I mean, if you think about it, at this point in time, Google managed to finish he qualified in the race. He finished 3rd in the race. DC not too far behind. So, considering DC did mention himself he had a difficult time with a car. Ooh, something happened to him. Oh, Radar Zak again. Oh. Still finds himself this 6. Hopefully, again, car damage this time. Got that rear fender going in the left and the right wheel at the back. Oh man, not Mo's favorite day. Still managed to find himself in ninth position here. He did have an earlier stop, so he must have been on a slightly different strategy. I'm sure he wanted to carry a long stint in the middle to make up for that earlier pit. I think that accident probably just threw him off. But otherwise, I know Mo is a very good racer. He's actually raced in the 500s when we did the M3 race and came up from pool 7 at the time, straight into pool 6, and there wasn't even any challenge for Mo making his way up into pool 5. He was just miles apart from the rest of the guys, so definitely a strong race here. So I'll see how that unfolds. It's moving back in the pack. We've got Andres here looking at the back, followed by Lee Racing. Now Andres, very quiet guy in the chats. I didn't even know this guy like partook in the race, and he finds himself at the moment at 10th position. I just want to take a look at that tires here, also doing a 2-stopper. I think he also went in and around the 7th and 8th lap. Just take a look where battling here with Lee. Interesting stuff going on here. Lee manages to take it and capitalizes on the mistake. Come on up, boy. Lee is definitely not afraid to go up for this challenge, but Andre's not giving over that easy. Almost looking to go in the inside. Tries to get him on the inside wind now. On the second curve, and it goes wide. Just make sure he catches that slipstream. Small little pack building up here now between 7th to 11th. Who we got in there? KBR, Eric in there. We got the Trotsky in there. Oof, really eating that corner. Such a nice camera angle at this point. They come outside of that turn, come down the straight. This is where you can really pick the pace up. If you get that slipstream, you can really take it down the inside here. Specifically designed on the deal. A little bit of scrapes. Let's see if Andres takes him. Lee acknowledges, decides to go a little bit wide to give him space. Excellent driving. Jeez, he's just got to take your hats off for the guys for the clean driving in GTSport SA. Something I really love about this competition. Keeping our eyes on Lee now. Still decides to not keep up that position very easily, and the two guys run off. I think that might be a bit of a penalty. Andres runs a bit wide, hits the wall. Eric capitalizes now. Oh man, what a battle. What a battle. Eric decides to take that 4th spot. Andres never got a pin there, runs a bit wide again. Trotsky this time goes on the inside. Oh man. Unlucky. That's what happens if you decide to battle with the Lee, man, eh? Can really put the pressure on the Ferraris, sorry. Showing what they're about there. Tires still relatively fresh on KBR. That must be a 2-stopper that he's going, 1-stopper that he's going on. Trotsky coming in at 9th with that rough, really showing us how it's done with this car. Puts up 134, and the pack developing here. Geez, I'm out of words. Now Jessica, you'll find him everywhere, dude. This guy was everywhere in the race. He finds himself in 11th now. Goes a little bit wide the other corner, but I mean that's what he does with this car. He pushes that car to the limit, finds himself somehow catching up with the back part of this pack. Hits the dust a bit, but man, there's again that penalties. Really pushes the car. It actually puts up his best first sector. Oh, you can see why. The guy's right inside of that pack. Let's make it a little further back. Scorpio's on his own here. He's going to catch up with him. That pack relatively soon. You want to get out and make sure you get into that 12th position just to avoid those relegation spots. Further back, Sandshock. Now he finally came in for his 1-stop pit. You can see on the fresh tires. He's got some ground to make up, but hopefully the 1-stopper will work for him. I'm guessing that's what he's hoping for at this time. Oh, Morey Razak. Just so unfortunate. Just had too many unfortunate accidents in this race. Especially at vital times, the times where the guys are finding consistency. He did have that early incident which forced him to go into pits. You can see in his car now that his rear end is sorted out. So very unlucky, man, having to go into that second stop. Who would have knows what would have happened if he avoided that those couple of accidents. Looking at the front of the pack now, Musa building somewhat of a leader. Now Brits finding is Brits vinnig is laying in 2nd position now, but definitely no real concern for Boozer as he comes around that corner. I followed in third this time with my two-stopper. Googly was close behind, and I think this is where a little bit of a battle started to happen towards the end of the race. We'll take a look at that again. Benny dropped off slightly. I think he makes a much more of a comeback towards when the guys make their second stop. Lee in sixth position, really leading this pack here, and I think this pack is really where the crazy stuff started to happen. Jeez, man, just look at this. Nice little driving. Eric decides to go almost on the inside. I think at this time he's heart full of Lee leading the race. But you know, just gotta keep it. Ooh, decides to go slightly on the inside. Tires his luck. Can't really get it. You'll get it eventually. Looking at the tires between Lee, I mean Lee is slightly worse and on less fuel than Eric, so would have a bit more pace with a lighter tank. But the tires carrying that lighter tank could be a balance out, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Eric does make a little bit of ground up. I mean, Lee putting himself in that 135s, 134 area. Very similar times from KBR Eric, and this entire pack stayed somewhat similar. Cheska burning that penalty off, making sure he does that before that first turn. This group was exciting to watch that most of the race. Keeping our eyes on Trotsky and now that CTC. That second turn, you know, you got to lift a bit, you know, you got to lift a bit, and hopefully you can hit a little bit of that grass before I come in there, you know, just to slow me a bit down. Get a bit of dirt in your tires, but it's not too bad. Trotsky decided going on the inside. Let's see what happens here. Is he almost side by side with Eric? Does he take it? Eric gives him some space, and Andries decides to capitalize. He goes a little wide, and oof, well taken by Trotsky. Lovely racing. It gives Lee a little bit of space now as that battle decided to take underflow. Cheska's also coming to the mix. Andries is also in the mix, and just an excellent race from these guys, just keeping it exciting. I told this is an exciting race. Didn't I say that? Guys come into the start on lap 16. Not the best lap times you can see with the plus indicator there, but always going to be the case if you catch yourself in the battle. Brits vinnig now finds himself at this point, but I think this time the guys still have to pit. Brits is already on that pits. Let's take a look at Brits quickly. Well, yeah, he's already been on that second stop, so I know he's going to be splitting from this group. Probably slightly unlucky finding himself. Andries goes into the pits. Brits vinnig is still out there. He's coming. He's going on his last stint now, and I think that was probably the right strategy. You know, going a little bit early. Those guys heating those tires up. Make sure you can get that speed for that last stint. Still an excellent livery. I wonder if he was the only crazy hater that was rocking this later. I don't recall seeing this in the Pool 1 race. Super dope. Scorpio, he's also come out from his second stop some time ago, and me and Scorpio always have good battles. Like just goes down from the Pool 6 days way back in Pool 6 race number 1. So let's take a look closely at this battle. There's two CTRs, you know, very nice driving here from Scorpio. I mean the battles were good, but clean. So we're trying to make the small gap up on the pack ahead of us with his 911s, and at this point in time you can see the lap times 133 is constant. You know, we need to be able to handle the car as best as we can, not afraid to turn in. I always decide to go a little bit inside on that corner, you know, just to make sure I get the apex a bit. Scorpio still taking our way up a bit. Eric, he's at the bottom of this pack now of 5 or 6. He's leading at this time at 4th spot, but I think he's still got to earn in for that second stop. I don't know at this point if he's actually going to push the car towards the end. But let's take a look at this, guys. He puts up a 135 as this tires starts to eat into them. Goes a little bit wide here, but Trotsky also on a very similar tire weight. Lee's slightly worse, you can see between the two. Trotsky's still riding about 135s at this point. Blitzvan has spit up a 132. Okay, that was out of the pits. And this quite a bit of a pack pulling up here. Driving from these guys were insane. Scorpio here coming aside. I've also just done my stop now. So coming on the inside of Scorpio, and this is where the race is on. Decided to take him there. I think he wanted to get me on the inside of the wine, and I think it does. No, it doesn't. Just couldn't pull out there fast enough. Sneaky little take there for me, but hats off to Scorpio for the battle. Moving our way up to the back. Let's revisit these guys again. The action stays here for most of the race. I just want to take a look at the front runners and see what's happening on top. Now Musa at this time, I think he's also on his last stint now. Just nerves of steel driving through, you know, most of this race. Qualified on first. Virtually flawless race. Let's watch the Master at work. It's this first sector at 132 is fastest lap. I is in at this point in time. Let's see how he comes down this curve. Got to break at the 100 marker here, so make sure you dip on. Can take quite a bit of the curve there, you know, without getting a penalty. So that's a nice thing about that. The massive gap between him and anyone else there. Googly in second point in time, but his tires is shot. I don't know if he actually runs with his car set up like it's through at the end of the race. He's still a good hand. Only about 4 laps left in this race. I think he does put eventually, but still makes it work with his Maserati, putting up a 135 with his tires before this. And quite a gap between everyone. It's Bunny the book for him. Let's take a look at his tires. He's already on that second stop. He's gonna make this towards the end of the race, although it's gonna be very tight. This 3 over there are at this point in time, but just shows you the same top 3, top 4 guys seen there. Unfortunate to Brits Vanach not being in this group over here. 1 or 2 penalties probably threw his race off more than what he wanted to, but Benny, Musa and Googly really showing us what it's about. Now Brits, even with those penalties, finds himself in his 4th spot. And I was slowly off the guy. I think my tires were slightly better than his. He did have the lighter vehicle at this stage, but I did manage to find good pace at this point in time. Guys come out here. Trotsky comes in and just heads into the mix here with Googly. I mean, that was the X. I don't know if you guys remember before the race, you know, in the chat box, people were talking about those dodgy exits, you know, from the pit lane, and I can only imagine how often that must have happened in the races. But not much complaints, you know, from the admins. Could be there's complaints, but not much complaints in the chat box after the race. And this was a nice little battle that took place here as well towards the end of the race. But we'll revisit this one again, but I just want to see what happens later down the pack. Trotsky actually not too far off from the 5th pack. Scorpio down here. Very good race. I mean, he's up at 7th position here. I think that was his last stop as well. So this is pretty much the instant. Eric here had an upsy downsy race, but never gonna see him outside of the top half of the table. Tires are somewhat gone at this point. But geez, still managed to make it work. He's got a bit of a gap between DC. Now DC, did want to see what DC was going to do at the end of the race. He's just rocky little turns around that corner. Excellent livery. I think this, I wonder if this is a custom livery. That's one that he's done himself. Probably a custom one. Oh no, it's definitely one he's done himself. I can see the sponsors' names on the car. It looks super dope. Chuska again with those penalties. Hey man, this car, this track really never loved you. Eh? Oh shame it. Anyway, looking at DC again, running wide, having an unfortunate race. I'm gonna see what DC's gonna be about in those normal cars. I think you'll probably see that he'll he's gonna be punching well above anyone else in this group when you see those normal cars. Bit of a gap before me here. Sandshark himself in 11th here. Andries at 12th. Yeah, man, Andries was always really pushing quite well earlier on the race. There must have been 1 or 2 accidents that happened or incidents that happened towards somewhere in the middle sector. He's pushing Sandshock now. You know you want to stay out of the 12th position to make sure you stay in the running, but I don't think there was going to be any dispute. Dries is, in my opinion, probably had the faster car between the Raffin C and the 911. He was also on the better tyres at this point in time, so there wasn't going to be much of a battle here between Sandy. And again, takes him on that other that tip corner. I don't know what you want to call it, but such a nice corner to take someone. I must say, I actually enjoy this track quite a bit. I know there was some chat about the track not being a very favorable one, in the chat box before the race started, but I quite enjoy this track. I found that it was just enough length, and it had enough tricky turns, for this S500, or for the super softs, the sport softs on this track. So another penalty for Chuska. Jesus, guy's a penalty king and still manages to burn it off. Where are you picking up these penalties? I think I probably have to watch this race again and just see what Chuska's about. Let's make our way further down. Lee racing at 13th position at this time. Not sure what happened in his race at this point. Moreira Zak, oh man, hard, so we don't have to talk about it. Let's take a look at Musa, how he decides to run the race. Bringing the book for him, still in second. Googly puts his right to third. And just before this, there was actually a bit of a battle between myself, Britsvinnig, and Googly. We missed the best part of it, but let's take a look further behind. Scorpio in 6th position. Excellent driving, son. I must say, hats off to coming into 6th, considering where you were at most parts of the race. Trotsky as well. I think Trosk mentioned in one of the comments that it wasn't his best race. I'm not sure if Trosk would have done something differently in this race, but to come from that second last qualifying position to finish in the sort of top half of the race, I think it's excellent stuff. Now a slight little battle going on between him and Eric over here. Let's take a look at the tires. Eric has got to watch that fuel. There's only one more lap left, so I think he can make it. Oh man, he's got slightly better tires than Trosk as well, so I think this one might need up to be very interesting. Let's take a look at this. Corners gets taken with virtually no tire left on that left front one. Slows the hell down. Oh, his ass goes over wide there. Still manages to keep the car on bay. Eric's not letting him out of the hook very easily here though. Comes on the inside. Eric's also got to make sure he drives a little bit careful, because his tires also not the best at this point. See if you can get him on the straight. Eric just has a little bit of struggle at that corner, and Trotsky pulls him a small little gap up here to keep that 7th position. Chuska coming past DC, and also a little battle going down here. Comes on the inside. Let's see if we can take him too winding out here. The tires are not too bad. Tires are pretty much even between these two. Also a slight little battle going on here. Let's see what Chuska does. Chuska and TC coming towards the end. Let's see how these two push it out. TC decides to go on the inside. Troska cuts him off. Sorry, Cheska cuts him off. Fuck their names, eh? TC decides to go on the inside. Let's see. Oh, dive bomb misses. Oh, unlucky, son, goes on the lead. Oh man, what a punch though. Andri's coming, and I think the guys have finished the line. Oh, I missed it, but there you go. Musa first, Blitz, Benny in second, Googly third. I was fourth. Excellent driving from Scorpio to come where he was. Trotsky, Oskier, nice finish. KBR and Cheska coming there. DC Gaming. Unlucky, couldn't keep up with that battle. Good driving though towards the end. Andres comes in 11, Lee pulls in at 12. Unlucky with Sandshock coming in at 13th. And Mo, the man with the accidents, unlucky son, decides to come in at 14th. Such an unlucky drive. And I know Mo is a top racer. Just sometimes you get those days, sometimes you get those days, sometimes you get those cars, sometimes you get those races where it just doesn't sort of suit you. Or you just have a bad day on the race and anything can happen. But a final finish to the race, and geez, that was crazy exciting stuff. I actually enjoyed this race quite a bit, and thanks to the admins for setting up this race for us. Ooh, man, my voice is totally shot. Thanks again for watching, guys. I don't even know half of the shit I said in this race, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I'll see you guys in future races to come. Enjoy your evenings and good night, guys. Thanks for watching.